What's going on, people? It's your man, the White B. Once again, big shout out to my dog, Martin Skirsis, for coming through and boosting up the coins. So, we've got another update in the Dave, Nando's, Allen Chronicles. We've got a few clips here I want to play. Obviously, it's post-fight-ish, a few days after now. What is it, Wednesday? However many days it was. It's a few days still since he got his nut punched right in for him. Listen, to be fair to Dave, I think he was, I did a video on it on Monday, man. I think Mahmoudov was on some Nafandaraliite gear, man. That was crazy. He punched him more than Usyk. Either Dave Allen is like a magnetic heavy bag where you throw your hands and it just gets sucked into him, or Mahmoudov was on something else, averaging, 70 punches around. Crazy. And they weren't like touches. He was dinging a lot of them. Anyway, Dave. Yeah? We did a video on this after probably Fisher 1 and 2, actually. Right. After Fisher 1 and 2, Dave comes out and says, I'm not sure what you'd call it. It's like, I'm not good enough. I did my best, but I'm not good enough. I could change some things. Yeah, I probably should do another camp now on the back of this and build off it. But he said the same things after Fisher 2. He said, yep, I'm staying bang on it. And I'm going to build from here. And then 2-2s. We talked about this vicious cycle. I've been in sport, not to Dave's level, but you get the point. I've been there, man. And it's like a fallacy you tell yourself. Right, you compete. Yeah, I'm really going to do loads. And if that time just elapses, man, you have to get on it. The best fighters, Usyk fought on the Saturday, and in the Sundays in the pool. He's not sitting there on YouTube talking about, yeah, I'm going to do it different this time. He's doing it. He's living it. Yeah? I don't want to hear Dave talking no more about, listen, YB, what does it matter to you? It don't really, to be fair, but I think he's got some skills. There's an argument he'll always be a sparring partner. That's where the evidence looking right now. He can't throw his hands. He's got that inbuilt self-preservation. He can't throw his hands. Bottom line, no matter what. Well, I'm not even sure he's fit, though. They claim he's fit. Think about it. Dave Allen fought Dillian Whyte on late notice. He did as good in that fight as he did with Mahmoudov. And he was supposed to be not training then. So I don't know how fit he really is. I'd argue he's not fit at all. And in fact, let's have a quick look. I just want to scope out his weight for that Dillian Whyte fight. And you can say, oh, YB is getting older. 33 is no excuse for carrying 20 pounds of dead weight. Sorry. I got a video coming soon. I was surprised. Dom Ingle. He was like, oh no, yeah. My name's Dom Ingle and I'm the father of boxing, and I know that Dave was in shape, and I know that he don't need to have a six-pack. No one's saying he needs to have a six-pack. Oh, heavyweights are never in shape, or heavyweights don't need to be ripped. No one's saying he needs to be ripped. Caballero is the same build as Dave Allen. He's 240. Right? Bottom line. Yeah, if you want to throw volume... Now listen. Highly likely Dave Allen has psychological issues as such. Sparring partner gate. That's a psychological block. No matter how fit he gets, he may struggle to throw his hands. However, one thing for damn sure, I'll tell you what will never help you throw your hands. I don't care about absorbing body shots. I don't care about I need to be heavy because the guy's heavy, my opponent's heavy. I'm not interested in hearing that. Those right there are cliches. Oh, I've come in with a big gut so I can take body shots. It sounds good to the unwashed. You don't know what they're talking about. But unless your name's George Foreman and you're 49 years old, what round, plump heavyweight, serious heavyweight did you see back in the 80s and 90s? Oops, you didn't. Proper soft and just hanging over their shorts. You didn't, and there's a reason for that. You don't to have a strong body, you don't need to have 20 pounds of bodysuit on. Sorry, you don't. It's ridiculous. Yeah? It will provide some blubber, but in my opinion, what a 20-pound meat suit takes away from your ability to move in and out, and your head movement, and your hand speed, and obviously foot speed. Does that make sense? Any gains you may get from having a meat suit on, you lose them because you're puffed. I'm telling you now. I've started losing some weight. I've dropped 5 kilos, and I'm not saying my name's Muhammad, I am Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, but I've noticed the difference, man. You're not puffing as much. Your hands are faster. Because you're not puffing, you're more willing to throw them. right? Except it's not rocket science. Domingo's like, no, Dave, it don't matter about how big you are as long as you're conditioned. So why weren't Martin Bacoli lighting the world up at 300 pounds, right? You can't physically get there. And to get there is such a mammoth effort. The tax on your cardiovascular system. Sorry, so no. Why didn't we see 300 pound heavyweights back in the 90s? Oops, what's happened is... Now obviously, you have super athletes as such, like AJ, who would be considered, or Dubois, who's 250. Even Dubois fought Usyk at 240, to be fair. But that even that would be considered big compared to someone like Mike Tyson, who was 215 or 220. But that's because of their stature. They're 6'5" and Mike Tyson's 5'9". Right? The heavyweights were like 6'1", or Lennox Lewis was a freak and Klitschko were freaks. And even them cats. And listen, I think the Klitschko's, they had a different genes to Dave Allen. No one's saying he's going to be long and gangly and lean. But a meat suit, that is normally reserved for journeymen. That's who the cats you see, serious cats you see with a meat suit. Yeah? What's that dude's name? The little one. Tua. Is it David Tua? Something like that. One of them ones. One of them New Zealand... What do they call him? What's the name for the Kiwi cats? I don't think he was Kiwi, actually. But you get... It's one of them ones, them rugby playing looking dons. I think he was 245, but he was lean. He was lean. He went... Quick hands. He threw his hands. Obviously, you can argue whether there's leagues here, which is true. Dave Allen don't know David Tua, but 260? For a relatively small heavyweight? No. How is AJ 240 against you? I think he was 237. If AJ's 237, sorry Domingo, I don't want to hear about Dave, yeah, as long as he's fit. He ain't fit though. You're right, he's not fit. And he's going to struggle to be fit with a meat suit on. That's just science. And you got these, oh well actually, you know, if you're too lean then you don't have no gas. Alright, well that's not Dave's problem, is it? Dave's problem isn't he's too lean and he ain't got no aerobic energy stores. That's not his issue. He's got plenty. Dave Allen is relative to a bear. He could hibernate for the next 6 months and be okay. He'd be just okay. He'd be fine. That's the truth. He don't need to worry about not having enough gas because he's too bone dry lean. Like he's about to step on the Olympia stage. I want to look up this when he fought Dillian White. Because that fight, it was a 10 rounder. Yeah, look. Oops. Dave Allen fought Dillian White. And that was apparently short notice and he was outmatched and whatnot. Dave was 237 and a half. And he was throwing his hands. He was losing most of the rounds, but I thought all the rounds he lost were competitive against a clear A side. They weren't like whitewash rounds. Dave was half in that fight at 237. And that was arguably an up-and-coming prime Dillian White. That was Dillian White. Dillian White fell off after what? Even into the Fury fight he kind of fell off. But that was more or less Dillian White's uprising. Around that time. I think he's with Mark Tibbs at this point. Good scrap it was. I think it was a fair scrap there. And Dave's 237. Right? That could be the case. He was actually fit for that fight. I don't know. I can't remember the context 9 years ago. I bring it up to say he then fought Luis Ortiz 6 months later and put 20 pounds on, 258. So this isn't about age. Right? If it was about age, Dave would never have been 260 ever. Yeah? Or, sorry, when he was younger. Oh, it's my age and my genetics. Well, how was you 237 against Dillian in a camp that you said was rushed and Eggy Hearn set you up? Oops. Yeah? So Dave's always been 260 when he ain't training. And I'm not saying he's not... he is training, but the food, man. And we'll get to that now, but... Dave confesses that, yeah, I was eating... My diet was better. And this is, again, another fallacy. When people get into diet, they think, well, I'm eating good foods. And because they're good foods, I can eat as much of them as I want. Got nothing to do with that. I don't know who teaches these, man. It's about calories in, calories out. Now, there's certain food you can eat to quell your fiendish desires. Like if you ate 2,000 calories or 2,500 calories or however many calories your baseline is, if you ate that many calories in pure sugar, you'd be starving about an hour later. So there's ways of manipulating it to get the best outcomes. But ultimately, It's calories in, calories out. What Dave alludes to here is, yeah, my diet was better, but I was eating 40 potatoes. So it don't matter. Just because the food's perceived as clean. If you put 40 potatoes in your mouth, well, I think he's being hyperbolic, but you get the point. Clearly he was eating something because the weight didn't come off. And he's supposed to have been in a serious camp for a year now, right? So if you're caning the potatoes, rice, pasta, they go down, especially if you've got a nice sauce on top. It's ungodly the amount of calories you can consume with them carbs. Roast potatoes, I could eat. Greasy roast potatoes, yeah, I could eat easily 2,000 calories in them. Just boshing them back, man. Bosh. Or chips, anything like that. Just wicked. Truly wicked. That's what Dave was doing. He wasn't eating chips, but whatever it is, but some form of potato. If you eat a bunch of potato, you're dirty bulking. Oh, it's natural, so it's okay. It don't work like that, man. If you ate natural amounts, or if you consumed enough natural things, that your calories are high, your weight ain't going nowhere. And in my opinion, traditional templates, they say, well, you know, in your off season you bulk up. Even in boxing, whether it's intended or not, they get lean and then they yo-yo. I think it's better to be lean. You want to get lean in your off season, man. That don't mean you're starving and you're depleted, but that's when you should drop. Why? You don't have the training intensity. I don't want to be cutting in camp. That's part of the issue. No one wants to be hungry when you're training hard. So when you're not training hard, it's about discipline. Yeah? Are you a 100,000 or 500 grand fighter or not? In one night, you get paid what? A good salary in the UK. If Dave's making 300-400 grand, that's above the national average for 1 year. Right? In one night or 12 weeks work, you can generate the average man's income, a decent income, in one night. I don't want to hear about, well, I need downtime, I need to rest, man. Rest for what? The rest of us, man, like I told you earlier, I'm cutting right now. I'm cutting and wage slaving and making these little shit videos. You know, you do that as part of what you're doing for nothing. And I'm tired of hearing these athlete, man, who've got the world at their feet. Fair play, they've earned it, right? But you've got the world at your feet and you're just playing with it. It seems wasteful, doesn't it? Well, I need to rest now. It's been really hard. You don't need to dirty bulk, man. Yeah? That's what you don't need to do. Reckless, dirty bulking. And listen, look at Naz. Well, Naz ain't a good example, to be fair, but still. Naz, once you're retired, you can do what you want. You could be 400 pounds. And Dave's got a limited amount of time here. I don't know why I'm so passionate for, but I just don't think he gives him... You control your mind. I'm not perfect. Yeah, my mind controls me at points, but still. Listen, man, let me tell you now. Scrap that, actually. Yeah? Let me tell you this right now. If I had a 500 grand opportunity, if someone said to me, YB, all you got to do, yeah, is not dirty bulk for the next 12 weeks, and you got a couple hundred large at the end of it, I'll be coming in like this. Right? If that's your craft. Yeah? You see the point? So scrap that about what I may or may not do. You got no excuse. Right? You got no excuse at all. I'm not interested hearing about, well, I need a rest, and I need to put weight on, and I like to have my body round so that I absorb body shots better. So you're just lying to yourself, man. You ain't absorbing shit better. It didn't even touch to the body. So what was that about? Makhmudov's never been a prolific body puncher. He's a headhunter. That's always been. When would Makhmudov never throw a body shot? He just wings for the head. Anyway, let's get to the... This is the first one I'll play.
Russian on the amateur team for many years, and he just knew a little bit too much. You know, when I did get to him, I got to him a few times. He tied me up, and he used experience. I thought I gave 100%. I didn't box the best of my ability. I think I tried maybe a little bit too hard, but that.
Here we go. I tried my best. On fight night. It's true, you can try your best on fight night, but that's almost irrelevant, right? If you put an untrained man in the ring, he could try his best. In professional elite sport, fight night is supposed to be the easy part. Why? You're prepared. Yeah? You don't see no serious man, really, I ran out of gas. They'll say that, like Bacoli will say that, I ran out of gas, I was too heavy. Because it's too heavy. Yeah? Now there's examples when you're fighting someone like Tyson Fury and AJ, no doubt. They was goosed against Usyk, but that's the elite, and there's levels to the game, ultimately. But Makhmudov, Dave could have won that fight. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. He didn't, but he could have. The outline was there. Yeah? Let your hands go. But this, again, it might not just be the cardio. There are psychological elements there. He gets right there, and then he just don't want to pull the trigger. He was doing the hard bit, in my opinion. He wasn't sketching around, and he wasn't acting spooky, which is what some sparring partners do. They are in there literally to survive. Dave wasn't surviving. He was. I think he was pretty apex. He was stalking Makhmudov, but the trigger just. I was like, go on, Dave, let your hand go. You're there now. You've done the hard bit. Most people don't even want to commit to walking forward. If they're a sparring partner, they concede and they wanted to survive and be super negative. You were getting right there, taking all the shots coming in. Time to pull the trigger, and it weren't there. Now, that could be the sparring partner thing, but it can also be you're knackered. Probably a combination of both, obviously, but being knackered ain't going to help nothing. You ain't going to throw... Listen, no man throws his hands more because he's knackered. You can only throw your hands less when you're goosed. Yeah? And I ain't trying to hear, maybe I tried too hard. No, maybe... Well, I tried too hard. No. I don't think you tried too hard, Dave. I don't think that's your problem. And we're not in his camp. We don't know what he did or didn't do in camp. I'll just take the weight for me. That's all that's relevant, in my opinion. The weight. If you're working that hard and you're super disciplined, bearing in mind, for the last X amount of years, he's told us, I'm not even disciplined. In fact, let's have a quick look. This is what I don't get as well. This is what I mean. This exposes the narrative that he's super locked in and he's really made a change and he's really working hard. Let me tell you how we know this. Right? When Dave Allen was fighting a man who was 2-25, Dave Allen, on the 4th of April, 6th of April, 2024, so 18 months ago, Dave Allen fought a man who was 2-25. Right? Dave Allen fought a man who was 2-25, who had lost his last 6 fights on the trot. Dave Allen weighed in 256 pounds. So you're telling me that would have... Come on, man. Dave Allen fighting a man who's 2-25, he'd have rolled off the couch with about a week or two, tops. I'm not even sure he had a camp. He probably would have just been milling around the gym and doing a bit here, a bit there type shit. So how can a man who's fighting a woeful journeyman relative... 2-25 is like extreme journeyman. So how can Dave Allen weigh 3.5 pounds less, 3 pounds less, when he's fighting a journeyman than 18 months later after multiple serious camps and fighting Makhmudov? How have you put 3 pounds on? How? So this tells us Dave's rolling off the couch, man. Dave Allen's rolling off the couch weight is 260. He fought another plumber who was 8-14 and he weighed in 255.5. So make them, please. Obviously, the unwashed, uneducated masses will say, "Oh, YB, I know, I did GCSE PE and he's put muscle on." Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Muscle's hard to gain. You ain't put no 15 pounds of lean mass on, man. And then implying that, oh no, YB, he actually lost 20 pounds of fat and put 20 pounds of muscle on. Forget about it. He put no muscle on. Dave Allen's walking around weight, Joe Public weight is 260. That's an issue. Oh, my genetics are bad. Stop putting 40 potatoes in your mouth, man. Let's see. Why don't we see? If it was genetics would imply that, or big boneness, genetics would imply that you'd see people in Africa walking around, right? If it was raw genetics, oh, I'm only eating a few bowls of rice a day, and I'm just massive because my genetics are that like that. Oops. Why don't you see engorged, impoverished people? They should be knocking around. Genetic phenoms. Oh, look, no. He only has a bowl of rice a day and he's just massive. It's not how energy works. Sorry, you don't store energy when you ain't consuming enough. Bottom line. Oh, but he was his cardio system was on point, but the weight just didn't come off. If you want to believe that, it is possible. He could be really fit and he is caning the food, but that just even more shows that you're too heavy for your frame. Listen, man, that big round gut, it's literally like a weight hanging off your body. It's going to make everything like you're fighting in treacle. Bottom line. That is the truth. And it must be addressed. Anyway, I'll play some clips here as well.
I'll fight to the end. Could I have done more? You always think that after, at the time, when you get absolutely belted. I'm really not. I'll fight to the end. Could I have done more?
I'll just stop it there. We've talked about this to some extent already, but I'll fight to the end. It's no good. The mindset of fighting to the end needs to be applied in your training camp. It's no good. Either way you look at it, whether he trained hard or not, the diet. You didn't fight to the end in the dieting. And again, I get it. You don't really want to cut calories in your training camp. Do it now when you're hanging around the place. That's when you should lean up. Eggy Hearn's talking about Dave Allen fighting a little bit of a stiff. Well, dry out now for the next 8 weeks. Dry out, man. And once you're there, once you're stable, you can then add calories. Let's say Dave cuts down to 2,000 calories a day. Once he's down to his ideal weight, bosh, you can then go back up to 2,500 or whatever. But at some point, when you've got 20 pounds of excess body weight, at some point, unfortunately, you have to be in a calorific deficit. It's the only way. At some point, you have to go through that small suffrage. And there's ways you can do it fasting. It feels... I've started doing it. I never used to like it, but you do get used to it. I haven't done a massive fast. What's my fast? Like what? Well, not long. What is it? 15 hours. But before I was getting up at 5:30 and then caning things at 6:30 and caning things at 7:30, and the more, if you restrict the amount of time you eat between, the less you can consume. So before I'd have an extra few things here and there just by simply starting earlier. Once you trigger that, whatever it is, once you eat something, it sets off your animal brain and you just want to consume until night time, man. They put some Kabbalistic things in the food, man. It's one of them. They got you fiending. It's true. You gotta lie, man. Some food have you fiending for it. Yeah, proper fiending. I don't know what they got in there, man, but it's like they got the rock in there. I swear down to you, man, right now. They got the rock in there. Some of them foods, they got the rock in. You'd be sitting there just thinking, you know it's wrong as well. You know I shouldn't really eat that, but it's like it's a fiendish. It's a fiendish. Whatever that is. You see that one? Cutting out, again, it's hard. Initially, and Dave was saying, I don't even want sugary things no more. So how you do 60? But he's just substituted sugary things for caning the, what they call it, complex carbs or something. He's caning the complex carbs, man. That's what you do, man. He's cut the sugar and just added a bunch of potatoes on top, man. That's wicked.
Well, you always think that after, at the time, when you're getting absolutely belted. I'll fight to the end. Could I have done more? You always think that after, at the time, when you're getting absolutely belted and you don't know where you are at times. It does make you a bit gun shy, letting your shots go as much as you could. I was tired. There's a few things I have to do and change. But I didn't think beating him was out of my reach at the final bell. I did think...
So Dave admits there that he was getting belted, so it made him gun shy. But that is always going to be the issue, Dave. Even with Fisher, it was Fisher who couldn't punch for them first 4 rounds, and even the second fight, you weren't even active then. Even when you knew you had Fisher's number. Now, people will argue, well, he knew he was going to knock him out. Okay, but until that point, you weren't really doing a lot. In the first fight in particular, you were just absorbing shots. And you can't... You can, but that'll only work with people who are brand spanking new. Any half-decent heavyweight will just touch you all night. At some point, you have to engage. Same as Adelele. I don't know, he's lean. I don't know what his excuse is, but that shows you it's a mentality thing. Adelele's bone dry. right? And he don't want to throw his hands. So someone has to address that. I don't know how you do that. My name's not Brendan Ingle as such. But the hands have got to go. You got to let the hands go. I don't know. What do I know? Nothing. So that's fair to say, but I've never boxed before, so what do I know? That is a fair statement to make, but you've almost just... I don't know, man. Like, we talk about the beaches of Normandy. At the end of the day, yeah, men got off a boat and ran up the sandy beaches with heavy machine gun fire and artillery and whatever else raining on them. So in my mind, I'm thinking, and again, this is speculative. I've never done it. Maybe I'd shit myself, right? That's a fair point to make. But in principle, you have a choice. You get off the boat and you have a go, or you don't. Most would opt not to. That is the truth. Well, that's not what happened back then, but particularly in today's age, most will think, I'll have my cream cakes and I'll self-preserve. But you have a choice. You're not a passenger, particularly in these scenarios. Now, obviously, Dave in round 12, he kind of has I'd call it a bit of a fake go. You know what I mean? He knew them shots weren't never going to land. You know when someone's just bowling, shots over. He knew them shots were in vain. He knew they weren't ever going to land. Oh, look, it's almost like he was saying, I'll show you, I'm really trying here. No. You could have done that a lot earlier. With some structure. I've got him where I want him, which you did all night. You got him exactly where you needed him all night, and then you'd fall in and do some slaps on the inside, and you know what I mean? There was no clean execution in that intermediate range before you're on top on someone. There was none of it. There was no stiff jab and a backhand following it up. There was no real intermediate strategy. Dave's either taking shots coming in or is in the clinch and it's messy. I can't recall any productive, clean scoring work, really, unfortunately. Makhmudov, he was alright, but Dave was catching a lot of the shots. Obviously, he still absorbed them, but the outline was, I agree, Dave could have done something, but this is every fight we have the same discussion. Apart from Fisher, it's always like, I could have done more. Yeah, I could have done this, I could have done that. You have to do it, though. Is he getting better at it? I didn't see much evidence of it. I can't lie. Before the fight, we said there's a risk here. He's just like a heavy bag and his aspiring partner, and that is what we really saw. If we're honest, that's the cold hard truth. The day Dave Allen's better is you'll see him letting his hands go at least a few times around when he's got someone in position in the intermediate range, not on top of someone. I don't want to see you slapping on the inside, man. Not even the inside. He's slapping on the clinch, and it's like wasting energy, man. For me, none of them, very few of them, it was a few times it kind of worked out, but not worth the... It's not going to turn no one on seeing someone slapping and it's messy.
With a few different changes and things, I think I can at that level. But how good is Makhmudov at this point? Again, another question I can't answer, so difficult to get a gauge on it. But I've got no excuses, obviously. I'm just saying, I think I could have done more now. I'm probably going to have to watch it back on some weekends, watch it back at some point, so you know what, I'm going to have to watch it. But what is next? So,
and that feeling Dave talks about, I've been there. When I was doing my thing, I could have done more. And I haven't been a boxer, so maybe it's different. But listen, that's what you've done, right? When I was swimming, that's what I was doing. So it's just, whatever you've come up in, it's the same principle. I've shit myself before. I don't really fancy being tired today. Essentially. Oh, my legs are burning, I can't be arsed, type shit. And other times, I've been like, I'm getting it. Yeah. And that is just the mentality of it. We see it all the time with fighter. Look at Buster Douglas. I think he was on a bit of a down slope where he was looking washed up and then he just turned it on. That's a choice. Yeah, his mum died and that gave him the motivation, but motivation is within you at all times, whether you choose to. It's not like his mum came down and jabbed him with a Trenbolone pen and he's like, oh, and he's bang on it. It's just in your mind, right? We see it all the time. Fighters motivate themselves without having some external social influence of a parent dying, for example. It's just in you. You can just look at Chisora. Chisora's a good example. Limited, but he'll come, put his head down and let his hands off. And that's what, particularly in this renaissance period of his career, has got him through. Beat Wallin, beat Joe Joyce, beat Pulev by having a go. And you'd argue Dave's probably got a better chin than Chisora. Did you see how Chisora came out against Tyson Fury? Yeah. All that is a mindset. You wouldn't argue that Chisora has a massive skill gap with Dave. The difference is Chisora's willing to go out right on his back. And that's how he fights. It's just in your mind. You can say, it's me or him tonight. And a lot of the time, when you come out with that mentality, your opponents are going to be spooked. Now, if you've got the sparring partner mentality and you're soaking shots up, people, pro boxers, if you're a heavy bag, a sparring partner heavy bag, they will slap you half to death every day of the week and 3 times on Sunday. The only way you're going to turn that off is by having a go. Sorry. If Dave Allen fought Makhmudov like that for the next 100 years, he'd lose every fight. You got to turn him off with something. You got to make him question himself. Because Dave says here, I was questioning myself essentially because I felt the power. Well, whatever you're going through as an individual, you can make that same guy have the same questions. But you got to do something. You're not going to get him questioning himself if you're a heavy bag. However I'm feeling, I know that other human has the capacity to feel the same. And hence, I'm putting it on him. I don't want to feel like the victim no more. I don't want to be let him question if he fancies these shots anymore. Yes, zero-sum game. It's either you questioning yourself or he is. Let it be him. Or let him catch you and okay. But I think Dave enshrines a bit too much his, I've never been stopped, I've never been knocked down before. I think that narrative almost limits him. Chisora's been knocked out cold by Little Toe Hay. So I think Dave he came out after the fight saying, no, I didn't get knocked down. No, but I didn't get stopped. I didn't get knocked down. That's almost his. And if you've got that mentality of, I'm the guy who don't get knocked down, well, a lot of fighters can do that. We've seen it loads of times. Itauma's fought 2 journeymen who didn't get knocked down or they didn't get stopped, right? Because they were super negative and hands on their head. It's not really a big feat, to be fair. Well, it's better than anyone else, but in the pro boxing game, not getting stopped because you're not throwing your hands, there's no medals there. And you're losing anyway. It's better to go out, well, what do I know? I'm sure Dave's family wouldn't agree, but it's better to go out on your back. Because you could say, listen, I threw my hands, I've done everything I could. Dave can't say that, sorry. He can't say he did everything he could.
Not against, I'd love to do that. And I'd like to do that, yeah. I will box again. I definitely will box again. I love it. I do love it. And people say, well, you're still boxing for, you don't be world champion. Why the fuck do we play Sunday League football? Because we fucking love it. I'm not Cristiano Ronaldo, but...
If you love something, though... So, for example, I'd say Chisora loves the game. Yeah, when you've got self-preservation, when that's one of your underpinning fundamentals, which I believe is for Dave Allen, that's not really love of the game. I think Dave loves not getting stopped. Do you see the difference there? You look at the old heads, I don't know, like Nigel Benn or something. Come in there, have a go. You can see he loves the game. He wants to have a scrap. Right? Loving being a heavy bag and getting whacked all night and not doing a lot. Just let your hands go, bro. Next time you go in there, and that's the thing, you see Dave fight journeymen. Like Buschetta. It's only a 4-rounder, but it went to points. Jake Darnell went to points, 4 rounds. Now, he has knocked out some people. Ferociousness, man. Yeah? Okay, you want to get some rounds in. Play with him for 2 rounds, and you're getting it. I'm doing you serious harm. Not that it would matter against a plumber anyway, but you get the point. I think maybe you train that mentality. Now, you might come unstuck like Mike Tyson did, like an on-top fighter, but it's better to be an on-top fighter than not throwing your hands. It's better to be having a go on people, totally ferocious, and then getting punched up when you meet your match, than it is to always be safety first. It was, honestly, this fight was, outside of the stoppage, this fight was reminiscent of the Dave Price fight. Dave's just plodding and taking shots.
I do like playing football. I don't play some league anymore. It made me too sore. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to box on. Of course I'm going to box on. I love it. I'm only 33, just because he was good and he beat me fair and square. Yeah, so I don't want to dwell on that because I'm not making any excuses because he was good and he beat me fair and square. But I think I'm still improving in the gym. I've had three proper fights now, and 3 proper fights in the last 6 years. You know, the activities do me a world of good. And I feel healthy, feel really healthy and fresh, feel good, my life's good. I must live better. I'm coming into camp at 21 stone. All I'm doing is losing weight to get back to the weight I was the fight before. You know, started this camp at nearly 21 stone. I need to start the next camp at around what I am now, get down to 17 and a half.
We talked about this earlier, but he did say this after the Fisher 2 fight, and probably Fisher 1. Yeah, I'm too heavy, I'm going to come in for the next camp at this new weight. Now, Dave does go on to say that he wants to fight in December, and that would be a good thing, I think. I think he still needs a proper diet, though. I don't know how much money he's making, how much nutritionist costs. I don't know. But you can do it yourself. Obviously, it's easier to let someone mother you, but you are a grown-ass man. Yeah? You are a grown-ass man. Bottom line. And you cut your calories. A good benchmark. If you're active, what, 2,500? I don't know, but come on. You can work it out in a week. If you cut your calories, let's say you go down to 2,500 and you weigh yourself, you should have lost a pound by then. It's difficult. Over a short period of time, it's difficult to get the read, but certainly over a month, it should become apparent. So you can toggle it from there. And if Dave had started a year ago, he'd know exactly where he's at. He'd know, my baseline when I'm training is this, my baseline when I'm off camp is that, to stay stable, and you adjust from there. You cut 300 calories off or 500 calories off, and every week you're losing more or less a pound. The best part of a pound. So you got no excuse of, the nutritionist is expensive. The nutritionist will mother you, right? But if you can't, Dave can probably afford it, but still, if you're going to quibble about the Moody silver coins, you can do it yourself, man. That's what we're doing. Right? How many of you, man, have got a nutritionist, man? Yeah? How many of you, man? Yeah? Oh, AB, well, you're not doing an elite sport. It don't make no difference. I'm starving to death right now. I've been starving to death. For nothing. You see that one? For nothing. That's what I've been starving to death for. This cat got a couple hundred large looming every 3 months, every X amount of months, and you sitting there, repeating the same cycles. Come on, bro.
I'm back. It was the best atmosphere of any sporting event I've ever been to. I'm not being biased because I'm not really biased. I don't like saying nice things about myself. It was the best atmosphere I've ever seen at a sporting event in my life. I'm not even lying either. So yeah, I said to Ed, Sheffield, February, March. I'd like to box in December. 6-8 rounder, anywhere I've not boxed before.
So that's about the 6-8 rounder. He doesn't mention names, but he is a half alive opponent. I want to see a change from Dave, though, honestly. I want to see a half alive opponent. Let me think of someone. I won't even mind Dave versus Wallin, but that's maybe a step too far. But Chisora just did it in his 50. But still. We know Atalma's fighting Pulev, but Dave versus Pulev, he'd probably get boxed up though, wouldn't he? He'd get boxed up by 50-year-old Pulev. Maybe that is a step too far as well, but I want to see Dave have a go. Someone who's semi-durable. I want to see him change it up. You're getting it. That's what we have to see. I don't want to see no more sparring partner, man. You're doing someone serious harm. That's what you're doing. You're not playing with them. Yeah? You're not giving them sparring rounds. You're not helping their cardio session. I think Dave Allen, honestly, never mind Makhmudov's training camp, Dave Allen gave Makhmudov solid sparring rounds, man. Just teeing off. It's a proper cardio session. Makhmudov's cardio went through the roof after Saturday night because he was just touching you with 70 punches around. Right? Makhmudov's never been so fit after getting that sparring session in there. That's not your job. Your job ain't to, I'm coming in, I'm the B-side, and touch me all over whilst I walk into you. Anyway, I hope he does make the change with the diet. I hope he does. I think the fight will be a good thing. Being active, that can't hurt, can it? And building. Listen, if at 33 or whatever, you're either going to do it now or you're never going to do it. You're either going to lock in now. We've been saying, to be fair, we've been saying that for the last year since he fought Fisher. We've been saying he's either going to do it now or never, and it's looked a bit like never, but it doesn't matter when you start as long as you start. You can't go back in time. So today, every day you can say, I'm doing something different on this day. Indecision and inaction is what's completely useless, which is what he's been doing. Allegedly, there's been some action. Allegedly, he was fit. Allegedly, Dom Ingle says he was in the best shape of his life, and the meat suit helped him out so much. But it's up to him, innit? Let's see. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Smash the like button, subscribe, like up the bell. Click this button right here, man. Whoop-de woo woo woo. We got the YB roast of Andrew Tate. And we've got bare videos on there, bare man on there, big community in that. So click this button, man, get plugged in. I'll get unplugged from the J-Tricks. That's what you man need to do. Johnny.